My name is Rachel Durchslag. I am the founder and executive director of the Chicago Alliance Against Sexual Exploitation. My calling is to work towards ending sexual exploitation and sex trafficking in Chicago and in the United States. One day I saw a film at the International Film Festival on human trafficking, and I had never heard of human trafficking before. And as a feminist, I was almost embarrassed to say, how could this be happening in my city? And I had no idea. And then what kind of solidified it for me was that I went to Thailand and I worked with young girls who had been kidnapped or sold into sexual slavery. I thought that I was going to find a bunch of young women who were broken. And I found quite the opposite. I found women who had undergone rapes, who had been set on fire, who had been, bearing knife marks across their entire bodies, and yet every single one of them was determined not to give up, and that they believed that the world had something better for them. And that was what inspired me. When I first told my grandma that I was going to start my organization, she was worried about my physical safety and health and couldn't understand why I'd want to work on behalf of these women. And I think that that's a very common reaction. People don't want to talk about my work, and people are really uncomfortable about what I do, and people like to fight me all the time. It's emotionally exhausting. I just know that it's not an option about whether or not I do it. I think when I first started doing this work, I felt a lot of pressure to be doing anti-sexual exploitation work nonstop, and anytime I was doing something that was fun, I was somehow taking away from the potential impact that I was going to have. And so I felt a lot of guilt not doing casework, going on vacation and reading a novel and not reading about the issue. It was 24 hours a day where all I was doing was reading about the issue, watching films about the issue. Every conversation I had was about the issue. My friends would ask me, what's new in your life? And I would only talk about CAASE. And finally some friends said, okay, we need Rachel back. And then I went to a workshop where someone said, you will only be as good of an activist to the extent that you take care of yourself. And I have to remind myself of that. And at all times, I'm taking a class in something that really nourishes my soul, whether it's trapeze classes or boxing or whatever it is that really makes me interact differently and has an element of self-discovery. And I thought that people would be disappointed in me if I did more self-care, and it's been the opposite. And I've been really grateful for that, that people have been very supportive of leaving work at work and really kind of nurturing Rachel instead of nurturing the movement. CAASE will always be kind of what I feel like sustains me. But I think in order to be good to CAASE, I have to find other things that are not CAASE related to also sustain me.